Hey, everybody, welcome back to What Are You Chasing? And if this is your first time joining us, welcome all together. Today, my guest coach is Mind Liberation Coach, Melissa. I'm going to go ahead and let Melissa tell you a little bit about herself. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Excited to be here. Oh God, a bit about me. I'll just start where I started my own journey, I guess. So about 6 years ago, I was kind of going down like a really depressive path, and I nearly lost my partner. And so that's where my own healing journey kind of started. I was a very angry person, and I had a lot of repressed anger. And when I would drink and then it would all come out. And what I didn't realize was I had repressed memories of a childhood sexual abuse. And so I went on this journey of discovery, journey of healing, and I did all kinds of things: belief coding, ayahuasca, traditional therapy, body therapy, EFT. Like I did all of it. I was all of it. And then I was doing belief coding, which is basically you find the person's limit in belief, you go into it, you go back to the past basically, and you heal it at that point, and then you come back out. And I was really good at it, and so I become a coach in that. And even though I could help other people in it, it wasn't really helping me. I still felt like I was missing something. And then I come across the three principles, and at first I couldn't click on with my intellect. Like I felt the truth, but my mind was like, no, it's too simple, too simple. And so I kind of left it for a bit. And then a year later, after I found it, I kind of found myself back to three principles. And it's been about 6 months since then. And yeah, here I am. So kind of fast track to who I am and what I'm doing.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And so, yeah, we are going to talk a little bit today about spiritual awakening. And so I'm going to give, like a little bit of a definition, but if you want to add or give your own definition, you can do the same. So like spiritual awakening, people hear that, I think they automatically go religious.
Mm.
So it's just recognizing the innate well-being and wisdom that lies beyond the changing thought and feelings. It's an unconditional state of clarity and peace. And do you want to add anything to how you describe spiritual awareness?
I think it's like for me, it's accessing that wisdom and that knowledge. For me, it's like it's so night and day. Like the other night, I was in bed, and I was thinking, why am I still struggling with this? So it's something to do with wealth. And I literally just asked the questions like, why am I still struggling with this? And I get like pictures like thrown at me. And I had this picture of like my higher self, I see it as a higher self, my higher self throwing something at me, laughing, and saying, you're going to need this for later on. I was like, that didn't come from my head. That come from something else.
Yeah,
And I get these quite a lot, and it's just like having being able to access that. Every single one of us can do that, and
absolutely.
it's just so powerful and so like it's normal and it's magical at the same time.
I love that. Yeah. I often use the word magical as
Yeah.
well because, and not to mislead like anyone into thinking that this is all, once you connect with your innate well-being and your natural state of peace, that everything is always so happy and cheery. That's not the case, but it is very magical in
Mm.
so many aspects. So many aspects. And so, I like that you said access, in your definition, because that's the truth. I mean, there are ways to access and that's a method, and I get that. But there are ways to access like our innate well-being, our spiritual awareness, to grow it, to expand in it, to realize what it is.
Mm,
Because, sometimes I don't think that, especially when we haven't had any kind of shift in awareness, I think it's hard for us to recognize.
yeah, definitely. I mean, everyone has it all the time, but we just don't. We're just so blind to it. We don't realize that that's what it is. We
Mhm.
take it for granted.
Yeah,
And but a metaphor popped up when you were saying about access and stuff, and I had this. When was this? It's always at night when I'm going to bed. I'm like, God's sake, I've got to write this down, which is when I'm most quiet, obviously. But I saw like all these modalities, all this like meditation, and all these ways that you can access it, use it. And it was like going over the river. So across the river is like what we want, that peace, that alignment, that flow. And we're down by the bank and we're learning how to row the boat. And sometimes the stream is fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's and we're learning how to ride this boat. Only if we just look up, there's a magical, beautiful bridge that leads straight to it.
yeah,
We don't need to learn all these modalities or because we have access to it straight away.
absolutely. I love your metaphor too, because yeah, we're so busy rowing the boat, okay, and concentrating so hard on, and in that I visualize in my head when you say that, I visualize, kind of like looking at the rows and putting,
Yeah.
and not taking that time to look up and see that there's this big, awesome bridge, like you said, that can lead us straight there.
Mm,
Yeah, I love that you do that. That's exactly what I picture is, somebody just concentrating so hard. And the thing about that, it's kind of the unhealthy approach, like there are unhealthy approaches to spiritual awareness. And it's through extreme measures, like that can actually block it instead of letting us access, you know, um, these efforts are from like a place of these unhealthy ones are of intense mental striving,
mm.
and control.
It's a bit like I recently did a I can never say the word Vipsana, Vipassana, 10-day meditation retreat, silent retreat.
Mm,
That's a bit how I saw that. It was amazing, and don't get me wrong, I respect like Buddhism and like Buddhas. I think they're crazy, like amazing willpower, and but I just felt like this was so much effort, so much on your mind, like having to not talk, hours and hours of meditation every single day just to get to the same place that we can get to normally
yeah,
when we understand that it's just behind our thoughts.
right. And that it's actually our normal state,
Yeah.
you know? It's like I said, like those things, ironically, what they do is just they obscure the natural quiet and calm
Mm.
and peace and present that's already there. It's never gone anywhere.
It's like they're like permission slips.
Yeah, I like that term.
Like we have to earn it to get it.
Hmm.
And I think that's such a societal thing, isn't it? That if we want something that's peaceful, or we feel like we have to earn it in order to have it.
Right. And that comes, I think, too, that's a good point. I think that comes a lot from, those limiting beliefs that I've talked about before, you know, um, like I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough,
Not
you know,
worthy. Yeah.
not worthy. Like, yeah, like you said, it's almost like we have to do something really amazing to get our permission slip signed so that we can live at
Yeah.
peace. And you and I know now that's not the case, but at one point like I've said, I didn't even know this existed.
Mm.
Yet it
I've,
existed.
yeah. I've had a lot of like spiritual things happen. Like I am a very spiritual person, and I am had a lot of weird, wonderful things happen. And even then, when I was having these things happen, it was like, am I worthy of this happening for me? Like access to that, and I'm thinking, I'm not worthy. What? Who am I to have that kind of connection? And it's so sad. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people like that. And then I'll be like, oh, that didn't happen. Doubt myself, and then doubt the messages. And it's crazy how limiting beliefs and what we believe about ourselves stop us from that connection. And that's all that's stopping us is our own self.
Right. Is our own thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is, I love the like community and the collective consciousness within it, because I have said that statement like over this past week, like, or past couple days, which is crazy. Who am I?
Mm.
I've literally said that out loud, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful um, to have come to this understanding and to live the principles. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, maybe somebody like one of our peers or something will ask for my opinion on something. And I think to myself, well, who am I? Like, thank you. I'm so flattered. And that's, but who am I?
Yeah.
I,
I had that a lot about even just becoming a coach. I'm like, I'm not good enough to be a coach, or I don't know enough to be a coach, and which I'm sure all of us have been through that one. But then I realized I've had a whole lifetime of experiences that I can help people with. And that's another thing, like the three principles, it's really made me appreciate everything that's happened in my life, all the bad things, even the sexual abuse, everything. It's like I see that now as a gift. All of it is a gift so that I can help other people. I needed that. If I didn't have all of that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't be the coach that I could be right now.
yeah, yeah, because, our past experiences, and, that's a great point. They're in the past. We
Mm,
can't go back. We can't change it. But yeah, your past experiences are different from my past experiences, which is beautiful because it does open up like our different ways of helping people.
mm,
When you can help somebody with something like sexual abuse, I've not experienced that, but I have lost a child. And so, extreme grief is something that I can help people with, and I think you might have said in your description of yourself, and which is kind of, the way I was an angry person a lot. And I don't know why, and I'm not gonna sit here and try to figure it out because it doesn't matter
no,
because I'm not that anymore. But um I was such an angry person and I'm not. So, to me, like, and anxious, and there's so many other things I could throw out there that I see differently now. So, it's awesome because we can help people with all sorts of different problems, issues, misunderstandings, as we like to say. Um, and it's kind of cool. It's just really amazing that this same understanding that's in all of us, we can use our past life experiences to help
yeah,
others to get out of a misunderstanding and stop suffering or struggling. So, yeah,
I think it's absolutely incredible, and it's so, and what they say, like, it's so simple but so powerful. Like, when we understand it, we can get out of the anger and that so quickly. Like, I remember not that long ago, I had a phone call. I was in France and I had a phone call, and it wasn't a very nice one, but, and I could see myself, like, I was reacting, but then I could also see myself, like, I had the picture come in as well of me acting in a different way. So while it was all happening at the same time, and I saw it and I was like, oh, I don't have to act like this. I don't have to feel like this. Because the only reason I'm feeling like this is because I'm having thoughts. And the only reason I'm having those thoughts is because I already believe what she's already saying. And it's just
Yeah,
like, boom, gone. And all the anger, like I had that anger come up and literally just disappeared. All from just knowing this three principles.
right. Absolutely. And I want to go back a little bit, for people who might be trying to, or wanting to gain a little bit of access to spiritual awareness. I mean, certain modalities and methods, they're they're perfectly fine, like you said. And they do help to do one key thing, and that's quiet the mind. Whether that's meditation, which can look different for people. It's not always the, you
No.
know, um, journaling. For some people, being in nature, yoga,
Breath
prayer
work.
for people, art, reading. It's just things that help to slow down our mind and slow down the thoughts and maybe, some of that chaos that is going on in people's heads provides a much needed space. Kind of like what you were just describing, being able to actually see and not react. Let that anger go back down because you saw it for what it was. It was your thought, and you're thinking about what she said about you. And, you know, there's so many times in my life that I admit I didn't like what she said about me, you know?
Yeah.
And you can get wrapped up in your thinking and react very quickly because it's the thought that's attached to a feeling that exhibits a behavior that's attached to that feeling. And yeah, oh,
I feel like,
you are.
oh, go
Go
on.
ahead.
I
Nope,
feel
go ahead.
like I got another metaphor come up.
I love it.
I feel like the three principles, like obviously before you have like an insight, like insight is the one that changes that new thought. But also what I found with the three principles is it helped me, when you're editing a video. I don't know if you've ever used CapCut or anything like that.
I
So when
haven't
you're
yet.
and you've got like this tiny space,
Mhm.
and sometimes the video bits are so small that you can't quite edit it where you want it to edit. So what do? You zoom it out and then it becomes so much bigger. It's still the same time, it's still like 2 seconds long, but it's bigger, so you can literally put it wherever you want it. And I feel like with the free principle, this is exactly what it's doing in my mind with my thoughts. Like it's making that space bigger, even though the time frame is still the same. So like a bit like what I was talking to you about my mum, like it was happening at the same time, but it was almost like the time had kind of elongated.
Mhm.
And so even though it was the same couple seconds, it was like I was kind of out of it was almost like an out of body experience. And I could see both realities happening and I could see that I could choose whatever one I wanted.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I like that. I like that metaphor, and I like, it is almost kind of, I've never had an out of body experience, but it is almost kind of like one because in that pause and in that space, yeah, you have time to actually see, not with your eyes, but actually see in the moment, what's going on, what's actually going on before we react. If people, yeah, there's people that, can say something and man, I used to fly off the handle. And now I see it. Yeah, it's like I see it. And, I say this sometimes, the old me. The old me is like saying something in the background, and like, almost like, you want to. But then my wisdom just takes over in those moments, and it goes back down, like you said. Whatever that reaction was, just dissipates, and it goes away. It is almost kind of a choice, but I don't want people to. I don't put that much effort into it to call it a choice. You know what does that make sense
Yeah,
to you?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Your choice maybe not the right word, but it's just seeing them at the same time and
Right.
like, oh, I like that one. But
Right.
yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, we are we are observers
mm,
in our own realities. And a lot of times I think that just gets lost in translation. Like people think that we truly do control external situations. We don't. And when we realize that we're observers of our thoughts and our feelings, that observation and that pause and that time for reflection,
game changing.
it is. Thank you. Like my mind just was like, what's the word I'm looking for? And you build it right in. It's a game changer.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like I feel so much like don't get me wrong, I still struggle with things and I still backslide and I still get trapped in that little thought bubble. Like I'm in the thought bubble. Um, but for me, like the three principles has really opened up and like freedom for me. And it was the most simple thing out there that everything that I've tried. I've gone to extreme measures. I've done like ayahuasca and stuff like that. And even those, I still felt stuck. I still felt trapped. But with this, like even when I'm in that thought bubble of like overwhelm or something like that, I know that it will pass. And I just sit with it. And sometimes I can actually feel the wave just kind of, oh, it's going now. I can actually feel it leave. And that is just so incredible just to be able to sit back and like, I know that it will go in a minute and not have to do anything with it, not have to try and change my thoughts, not have to try and be positive or because I used to the one thing with the spiritual side of this and a lot of people get stuck and where I got stuck is we we over analyze everything. We become aware and then we over analyze every single thing, like every thought I was analyzing. Well, that's not a good one. I've got to change that. I need to be positive. Affirmations on my mirror, affirmations on my phone, like, but it didn't help me. I was just like, oh, for God, it's not helping because I was trying to control my thoughts. And what I didn't understand is you can't control your thoughts, they just come like clouds, they come and go.
Yeah. Yeah. And even on those too, when you say, you can't control your thoughts, you can't control your thoughts because here's the thing of our 60,000 to 90,000 thoughts that we have a day, we are aware of about 5% of those
Yeah.
come to our conscious awareness. and the rest of them are unconscious.
Mm.
And, sometimes our behavior we're exhibiting and the things, or how we're reacting to things is unconscious. And so, yeah, trying to control your thoughts, like you said, with mantras and affirmations and, positive thinking. I think I've said this before on a podcast, I'm not sure, but it's exhausting.
Oh my God, I was so drained all the time. I just felt
Mhm.
like I was on all the time, like I had to be a security guard of my own mind every day.
Yeah, I love that. A security guard of your mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with positive thinking or, you know, with affirmations or having a mantra or any of those things, but like you said, didn't actually, I don't know, did you use the word fix or,
It didn't fix me.
yeah, in the moment, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, in a moment, and um, when we're doing those things, whether we're practicing, affirmations or whatever, absolutely, they're positive, so they would come with a positive feeling in the moment, and I think
I
that's where
think
we get lost. It's
I think it only works as well, like the positive affirmations only work if you're already at that frequency of the affirmation. So for me, I was at a low frequency. I was kind of down here, and the affirmation was up here. And when I was saying it, I was like, it's not working. And then I would get frustrated and annoyed with it because it weren't working.
yeah, yeah, and you know what? Like I say, the affirmation was up here, and your level of thinking was down here.
Yeah. I
So
felt
it's
more
almost
broken.
like, right. Well, first of all, yeah, we see it's a
Yeah.
mismatch, but I think that also leads us to believe that, well, it's just not true then, right?
Mm.
These affirmations, these positive affirmations, and things that I'm telling myself, well, if I'm down here and it's up here, and they're not connecting with each other, eventually I'm going to get this feeling of maybe back to
Unworthiness.
the unworthiness,
Yeah.
or I don't deserve it. That's why it's not working.
Oh, I'm not supposed to feel good. I'm supposed to feel like this for the rest of my life. Kind of, they're the kind of thoughts that
Yeah.
were going in my head. And some of these affirmations were amazing, and I would shout them out like over and over and over again, and it just didn't work. So unless you're already kind of at the level that, then they will work because then you'll connect with them. They feel
Hmm.
in alignment, and then yeah, I can feel that.
Hmm.
But like a lot of people, they're down here and that's up there. That's why they don't work because you're on a different radio station.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, different frequencies,
Mm,
definitely different frequencies. And once they do connect, it's like you said it yourself. You feel it
mm,
from the inside. It's not this outside thing that you're forcing upon yourself and then wanting to know why the hell it's not working. Because like you said, I think already in this is that our innate wisdom and our innate well-being, it just is. And it's already there. And so it's like we're forcing something that already exists in us,
mm,
yet we're unaware that it does. So, I like to say the more you push at it, I feel like sometimes more pushback,
mm,
pushback, because wisdom doesn't want to be pushed at. You know what I mean?
mm.
Your well being doesn't want to be pushed at. Your well being, well, our well being knows better than we do until we know that what we're experiencing is our thinking, our thoughts, our, conscious awareness. Yeah, it just is.
It's like I see it like so I'm very pictury, but I see it like there's a crowd of people all shouting, screaming, jumping up, and I'm trying to convince them. But behind them, sitting down on a really nice comfy chair, is this version of you that's that wisdom, that kind of inner knowing, that inner love that's just so like hi, like happy and cool and powerful. And she's just watching,
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah. And she's like, or he is like, you know what? I'm back here.
Always been here.
Always been here. When you decide to see that that crowd is just in your way,
Mm.
you're gonna find me right here
Yeah.
in the quiet, in the calm, in the space. And I love that. I love the picture that animate that you bring to this.
Mm.
And it's really cool. It just shows that we all too have different ways that we experience our innate wisdom and our innate well-being. Um, it doesn't look the same for each of us. It's another thing I've said before. It's because we live in our own realities,
Yeah.
and it's coming from our perspectives. And you're a very visual person, I'm guessing.
Yeah. I didn't actually. You know what? I used to think that I couldn't visualize or anything like that. And then I don't know, it's just kind of gradually come and then now it won't shut up.
Right?
Now I'm just getting pictures and all sorts. I actually wrote a short story not that long ago.
Nice.
So and then again I wrote that one, which I'm going to make into an ebook, which is really cool. And
Beautiful.
I was like, oh, I really want another idea. So I went to bed and I was like, can I have another idea, please? And then closed my eyes. Within seconds, I didn't realize it. I was daydreaming this scene. And then I was like, oh, that's my new story. Thank you. And when we can be playful with it and trust it, like, it always answers back.
It really does. So mine, it is not pictures. Mine is words. Mine is hearing. And I don't want anyone to get confused. There's no bunch of chatter going on. It's like it comes in, my wisdom or my well-being, and says whatever it has to say. Hey, sometimes it can be, hey, why don't you check on this person? Or, ideas, like you said. I have a couple of books.
Yeah.
This is where I have a couple of books that I want to get going on that I love to write. That's something that I've always done my entire life. So yeah, like mine, I think that's why mine come in words.
Maybe that's why I've said it, so that you can do it.
Absolutely. It's so funny. But I'm looking forward to you doing yours as well.
I
I,
am.
you know,
I've read it.
I,
I've read the first one. I just haven't put it out anywhere yet.
yeah, yeah. So it's funny because the name of this podcast, What Are You Chasing?
Mm.
About, oh gosh, I don't know, over a decade ago. It was a book idea. And I even wrote the book. But back then it was for like preteen girls and teenage girls is what the book was geared towards. And it was called Girl, What Are You Chasing? And then not that long ago, like I haven't seen, I wrote this book and then I printed it out, the manuscript, I guess we'll call it, and I put it in a folder. And I hadn't seen it and I don't even know how long. And then one day I'm looking through our taxes and they're in blue folders, navy blue folders. And I grab one and I open it and it's my book.
Mm.
And that's how the name of this podcast came about, if anybody's wondering, because it's perfect. But isn't that weird?
Synchronicities.
Yeah, absolutely. Over a decade ago, a book I wrote. And now the title, What Are You Chasing, though has the kind of the same meaning to it, is different now
Yeah.
because I can actually see what I was chasing, what people are innocently chasing still. And that's a game changer.
I love that.
Thank you. I
Same.
mean, it's pretty cool.
I can feel it. I can feel it
Okay,
now.
me too. Me too. So yeah, and that's why I named it this because really, what are we chasing? We are chasing that inner wisdom,
Mm.
that inner peace, that calm and clarity, happiness that's a big one that people really truly
Contentment.
do what?
Contentment.
Yeah. They really truly believe that that exists outside of them.
Mm.
I too used to actually truly believe that external things and circumstances were going to be the answer to me living happily ever after, right?
Mm.
But all along,
Inside you.
happiness is in here, guys. it's it's in here.
Yeah. I mean, I did. So the other week. When I say other week, it could be other week or it could be other year. Just for
I
reference. I say other
yeah.
day or other week, but it could have been like anyway. This one was a bit recent, but I was at home and I was kind of feeling a little bit down. I was like, and I had to walk into town, and I thought I'm going to change my reality. And the only thing I did was I was going to look at everyone in the eye who I walked past and smile at them. And just from doing that, like my whole reality went from cloudy to sunny. Do you know, like
Yes.
it was completely different. The world hadn't changed.
Right.
It was still the same people, but I changed. And then, like David says, all boats rise with the tide. And I was smiling at people, and they were smiling back. And I was conversations, and there was a homeless guy, and I had a conversation with him, and I just felt really good. And
Yeah.
I come back thinking that was from here. Nothing out there did that.
Right.
I went from being on a downer to really happy in no time at all
Absolutely.
because I understood where my experience was coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. When we understand where our experience is coming from and not intellectually understand it,
Mm.
like you said in the beginning, and I've said in different places, not intellectually, but when we understand it through this deep knowing, I don't know how else to explain that.
Yeah.
But the deep knowing,
Yeah.
then and we see our human experience for what it is, and that you know we don't have to feel like crap.
Mm-mm.
We don't have to be angry. We, you know what? We don't have to be happy in a moment if we don't want to be.
No.
And
It's
that's the
yeah.
beauty of it is that we can we can be okay. And that's the thing. Let me rephrase that. We know that we're going to be okay. It might take us a minute sometimes, still for me anyway,
Mm.
if something goes on outside of me, I might get into some low mood thinking. But man, I know now that it doesn't take this extreme ladder or some kind of mantra or affirmation to get out of that low mood thinking. It's just to realize, well, it is my thinking and I'm doing it to myself.
Soon it's all that is just awareness. As soon as you become aware,
Yeah.
that's it. And I think that's what I love
Conscious.
about this. You
Yeah.
become aware quicker and quicker and quicker.
You do. It's like a never ending, and I love it. It's like it has the ability to just continue to expand your awareness.
Mm.
And that's what's so beautiful. I mean, 3 years ago is when I had like my massive shift. And I've always referred to it as my massive shift because we have insights and ahas, but there are massive ones. And those are the ones that truly come, from inside of us. And all of a sudden, everything's different. That sounds so,
And it's like you have a different filter. Your filter's changed.
yeah. Well,
Like,
or the one you had is gone.
yeah,
The filters that were placed over your eyes over time and social conditioning, value systems, belief systems.
you can see clearly again.
Yeah. I mean, I really, in describing to people sometimes my shift in awareness, the major shift in awareness 3 years ago, I really and truly, when I went to my back door for whatever reason, just because inside me, like I just felt it, like,
I haven't
and
heard this, so you have to tell me. What was
so
it?
I'll tell you, I was studying the Ultimate Coach program
Hmm.
with David, and I was watching a video. I don't even know what was said. None of that matters. Just something inside me. All of a sudden, I was full of this unexplainable joy that I promise you, I have never, ever experienced in my entire life that I am conscious of, that I can remember. I was filled with this extreme, extreme joy. Excuse me. And I got up. There are tears coming down my face, not of sadness, just of joy. And I opened my back door and I even thrusted my body like out the door a little bit and just looked around. Everybody, the sky, the grass, the trees, even houses and streets and anything that was in my view. But it was like seeing it all for the very first time. And when I say that, it was truly seeing
Beautiful.
for the first time. And I've got goosebumps right now. It was
I got watery
so,
eyes. I'm trying not to cry over it because I
it
can
was
feel it.
so amazing and wonderful. And even like I always try to point out, I'm not misleading anyone here. It's not that once you shift and you have that kind of experience, then that's how you feel all the time.
No, 'cause I've felt that as well. Like I think I've told you before, like when I was in my
Mhm.
car and
Yeah.
I was just driving down the road, and all of a sudden it just freaking hit me, like this feeling of just unconditional love is the only way I can explain it. And it felt like I was being like literally full up with it. And again, like you, tears down my eyes and like, what is this?
Right. It's really honestly, at first you're not even really aware of what even just took place.
Mm.
And I remember like David talking about, you know, shift in awareness and shift in consciousness, however you want to word it. That at the problems that existed at that level of consciousness will dissipate.
Mm.
Now, that's not to say that your new level doesn't come with its own
Challenges.
challenges. Yes, thank you. Look, I was looking for a good word there and you got it because it absolutely does. It's just now that, we see differently.
And I think we're the version of ourselves that we need to be in order to deal with those challenges. Like we've grown, we're always growing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't know that you've heard this story, and I have yet to tell the listeners here this story, and I'm not really going to go into the full story. I'm just going to give just a tiny little recap because of what you said, where it's that level of consciousness is preparing us for something else, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And so, like a year and a half after my shift on vacation, I have this extremely just out of the blue, random, horrifying experience, right? I, if any of you have weak stomachs, sorry. Start coughing up blood on the beach, and I have no idea where it's coming from, right? No, I've never in my life done this, not even a little bit. And I didn't freak out. And I was by myself in the moment when it happened because my sister and my cousin that were at the beach with me went for a walk. So they were far off down the beach. I couldn't even see them. And this is a like a private beach, and it's the middle of the week, and there's not there's nobody around me. And so I go over to the ocean, and I'm just like I'm continuing to cough blood, but I'm using the ocean water to like clean off. And the only thought I can remember having in that second was, I wonder if sharks really are attracted to blood because I could be in really big trouble. But anyway, I cleaned myself off with the ocean water, and it subsided in that moment, after about, what seemed like forever. It was probably 5 minutes or so. Um, and then I did the strangest thing. I and I wasn't screaming and crying or any of that stuff while I'm coughing. I went back to my chair and I sat down. Just, I mean, so peaceful. Just sat down because wisdom kicked in, and the only thing going through my head at all was just gonna sit here and wait for them to come back, not freaking out, and not getting caught up in, oh my God, what is going on? Am I dying? Like whatever. And that's what I did. I sat there not watching, I just sat there peacefully enjoying my view of the ocean and waited for them to come back. And then when they came back, then I said, let's go, because I need to figure out what just happened. And so had I not had that shift a year
Could
and a half
imagine.
prior, oh my God, I don't even know. I would have been hysterical for sure. Hysterical. I might have tried to run for the house. And
Put yourself in more danger.
yeah, put
Mm.
myself in danger. So that's the cool thing about mind. One of the
Well, it teaches you
principles.
how to swim, doesn't it?
Hmm.
When you try to float and you're like, that's when you drown. But then when you float. And it's like
Yeah,
you were just floating on the beach, waiting,
our natural state is to just
float.
float. Don't fight it. And yeah. So yeah, long story short, um,
But how empowering is that as well? Like,
it's really cool. I mean, it's very empowering, and it's, again, here's the word, magical.
hmm
And I said this on a different podcast, not mine, but one where I was a guest, and I talked about this story. And that's exactly what I said. I said, no, I know this is going to sound weird, but it's really magical.
it's like you've got like I see it as I know it's not like you've got superpowers, but it feels like you have superpowers.
Sometimes it does feel like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So yeah, that's my little beach story, which, by the way, everybody, Melissa makes the best reels and amazing.
Thank
And
you.
so, like, I took video because I was just back at that beach.
Yeah.
and I took video of the beach and where it happened, and I'm gonna put that into some kind of short, some kind of reel or
I
something.
think you should. That's a really cool story.
Yeah,
I
and
love it.
the even cooler part of that is I can go
Like, who
back
doesn't
there,
want to be unfazable?
right? Not to say, not to say that I'm not, that, things can't phase me. They sure can, guys. We're human beings. We
Exactly.
get phased, but something like that, that would have, yeah, like
Flipped
you
you over.
said, yeah, unfazed, unfazed. And, I did wind up with a little hospital stay in the ICU for a little bit. Um, even that was, oh my gosh, a nice experience. Like, everybody was wonderful there. And
Mm.
they kept telling me how wonderful and nice I was. And I'm just like, thank you.
She's so calm.
Right. So, yeah, it's very powerful and it's wonderful. And I mean, yeah, that's why Melissa and I have taken the journeys we've taken because we are here to help people, you know,
Yeah.
um, with people that might be struggling because we've been there in our different ways. We've been in places of struggling before this understanding and now after a shift in consciousness. Um, and it's truly magical. I'm going to use Melissa's word.
Liberating.
Yes. And I think you did say earlier freeing.
Yeah, definitely freeing. Like, I felt so trapped in my own mind for so long.
A lot of people explain their mind that way.
Like a jail, like you're in prison. And now I'm like, I don't have to believe that for.
Yeah. Because you don't have to be a prisoner of your own mind. And people truly, truly do believe that they don't have a choice, that,
They believe that they've been brought, like I see it as a bird that's been brought up in a cage, but the door's always been open.
yeah,
And it's just showing people that their door is open and they can fly out anytime. And sometimes they just need a bit of a guidance to come out of the little cage door.
I love it. I love all your metaphors you've used, and yes, that's true. And that's what we're here for, like to guide people, to help facilitate, to whatever term you want to put on it. That's what we do, is help people to get out of those states that they don't want to
Mm.
feel anymore, right? They don't want to, I don't know how else to put that. Like,
I think it's
they don't want to
showing
struggle.
people, yeah, I think it's like showing people as well about how powerful and magical their own emotions are. Like,
Hmm.
they're our personal guidance system.
Yeah.
They're so powerful, like everything, like anger, depression, anxiety. They're so powerful and they're doing us a favor by showing us where our thinking's taking us. And when we can see it that way, when we can feel, we're no longer afraid of our own emotions because we know
Yeah.
that they're just talking to us. I see it as a language between my body and my mind.
Absolutely. Well, absolutely. 2 points from that really quick. Yeah, a language between your body and your mind. Your body, your mind, and your spirit,
Mm.
because they're all connected. They're all one. They all work together.
We've just
And
misinterpreted the language.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know, I don't remember what the other one was. What happens? It's fine.
It'll come back at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Or, as soon as we're done here, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's what it was. Maybe it's just a point to make for another time. I think you said not to be afraid. That's what I was gonna say. It's just to realize that, we're just living our experience, our human experience. And like you said, all those emotions, we don't need to be afraid of them. Anger, sadness, anxious, they're trying to tell us something.
Mm.
And our spiritual awareness helps us in our innate, to slow this down
And
and be
like you
able
said,
to,
be the observer instead of the
yeah,
participant.
yeah, the observer instead of the participant. Slow it down and absolutely just know that you're okay. If you're angry, if you're sad, it's okay. It's not our natural state, but it is still one of our emotions that was built into us for a reason. And yeah, and we're okay. That's what people, I think that gets lost in translation a lot. They just don't believe they're okay or
No,
normal
and they're
or,
broken.
yeah,
And there's nothing can fix them more.
yep.
But we also can't help people who don't want the help.
And that's true. Thank you. That's a really great point. Like, that's one of the things that we always do is we always take, and I love the way that I saw this worded by somebody else. Um, we gift our first session to people because in that first session, a shorter session, but in that first session, it is for us to not only, to not take on somebody who's not ready or willing, because we're wasting their time.
Mm.
And in turn, our time is being wasted as well. And we don't want to waste anybody's time ever because this is understanding is so powerful. Many people are going to be like, really?
Oh, it is.
This is so powerful. It doesn't have to take years.
Mm-mm. Well, like they
In
said,
fact,
one thought away.
yeah, one thought away. And like that, you can
Mm.
change. You just have to really actually want to not feel the way you're feeling anymore. Not just say it, not just think it, actually a deep desire to want to not feel sad
I think
all
that's
the
why.
time, not angry all the time. Yeah.
I think that's why when I first come across this, I wasn't ready to let go of the victimhood. Because then
Yeah.
if I let go of the victimhood, I had responsibility. And at that time, I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. And just a quick question on that too, because that might help, this might help people too. Not only that, but this is just a question because I know I can kind of relate it to, my experiences. If you let go of the victimhood and that label, so to speak, then who are you?
Exactly.
Because you've been it for so long.
It's your identity.
Right. So then if you let go of it, who are you?
Mm.
And I think that's what a lot of people fear.
That was one of my biggest kind of fears myself, as I've been this person for so long. And as you know, we don't like the unknown. Our minds don't like the unknown. And it's like, who am I without being this victim? Who am I without this anger? Who am I without all these things that have kept me safe, that I thought kept me safe?
Yeah.
Because without them, without the anger, without all of that, then I'm vulnerable. I'm exposed. And that can be terrifying,
Yeah.
but it's
And
so worth it.
yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because I was going to say, I think that's what can stop a lot of people.
Hmm. And most of the time, you're not even conscious of it.
Mm-mm.
You're saying that I want help, I want to do this, but actually underneath you're pedaling the other way. Like, no, not yet, not yet, not ready.
Right, because somewhere in our programming, in our social conditioning, in our human nature, we resist change. A lot of us, we're not comfortable with it. Like you said, you're exposed. But what people don't understand, and we're gonna wrap this up soon. What people don't understand is when you're exposed, they think, oh my gosh, I'm exposed, it's all bad. But no, if you're exposed to your true innate self that has been there all along, you're exposed to your authentic, true self. And I promise your authentic, true self
Is a
is
badass.
perfect. Yeah, it's badass, it's perfect, it's beautiful, it's all of those things, all of those things. So, yeah. Do you have anything else you'd like to say, Melissa?
No, I hope this really reaches the people that need to watch it, and I hope it inspires people,
Yeah,
and I hope you
yeah,
can feel our energy and how true this is.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Beautifully said, beautifully said. All right. So if anybody would love to get in touch with you, Melissa, what is the best way for them to reach you?
I guess Facebook's probably the best one, and my name is Melissa Makemson. I'm sure you'll put it down on the notes.
I
Or
sure.
my Instagram is Lumina underscore soul underscore healer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will put both of those in the notes and or in the comment section below. So yes, anybody wanting to reach out and talk to with Melissa, just check out the comment section below and you'll be able to get in touch with her. She's, as you can tell, an amazing woman. I've spent an hour speaking with her and it doesn't even feel like it.
No, it's like 20 minutes.
Right? So, Melissa, thank you so much. Thank you for being on my podcast. Thank you for sharing your story and showing people it's okay to be vulnerable and talk about things that are, we don't talk about. Um, and to show everybody that there's life beyond that.
Yeah. We're here for a reason. We're here to live it.
That's right.
We're here
Not be
to
stuck.
have fun, play the game.
Play the game. Absolutely. Well, again, I've really enjoyed this.
Me too.
And thank you, everybody for watching. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, leave any comments, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye. Pleasure. Absolute pleasure speaking with you today.
Absolutely.